Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program! This is our heavily modded career game that once started as a live stream, but I'm going to continue it offline for a little bit longer. I have a plan today. I have a plot and a plan. And that is going to be, we are going to put in the initial work for the Kerbal orbital... Okay, I don't know why I kept going away there, that was weird. I had enough problems with the goddamn... I swear to God, there's nothing... I'm not touching anything on my keyboard. Also, the scroll bar is kind of wonky. Come on. What is happening? What about this one? This is very, very, very disturbing here. We'll find out if there's any more problems. Anyway, I don't know. We're going to take a look at it from over here. So, we are going to build, well, eventually the space casino, but we're going to start with an orbital station. We're going to move it up there. We're probably not going to load any Kerbals on it right away. Well, I could put two scientists on there. The reason is I want to then follow up with a manned landing of Minmus, which we have a mission for. I want to collect a bunch of science. Then I want to bring these people home. But this is going to be a little more difficult. I want to go and have them rendezvous with the space station and drop off their science. The reason that's going to be more difficult is because we're going to need a lot more Delta V, because instead of just returning home to Kerbal and hitting the air and using the air to slow us down, we're going to have enough Delta V, enough Delta V left over to enter into Kerbal orbit and, you know, ideally rendezvous with the space station. So we'll see how that goes. But in any case, that's in the future. What we're going to do today is we're going to design our space station. So, we could, and potentially should, simply have a probe core steer. I think we'll have a probe core, but I think because it looks awesome, I'm going to start with the copula over here, which I believe, yeah, it is a command module. So we'll be able to steer from there. But we're going to pair that with some sort of probe core. You know what? I might actually, I don't normally do this, because I don't want to block the light. I think the light is cool. You know, we want maximum viewage over here, even though it makes no difference whatsoever to our design. I'm going to leave that window open. Which means for our actual control module, I believe I can go and just stick a mech jeb on there. Yeah, and this is sort of a radially mounted probe core. Doesn't include anything other than the ability to control things. But we're going to go and stick it on the side over here. And that way we have some automated features. Because we may end up in a situation where we have no pilot on board, just scientists. Now, of course, because I am using MechJeb, I can still use Smart ASS to have access to, you know, locked prograde, locked director grade, stability assist, that sort of thing. And honestly, once the ship is in orbit, we really don't need any of those things. But just in case we want them, I'm going to do that, and I'll accept, you know, put this module on here, which does nothing because I've got the MechJeb for all mods, so I don't actually literally have to put that on there. But still, we're going to start with that, and then we're going to put in the mobile processing lab. Now, I'm assuming, probably not this. Yeah, no reaction wheels. The copula may have some. Come on, stay up. Thank you. It does, and they're actually quite powerful. At a strength of 9, I believe. Maybe not that much. What's your standard Mark 1 command pod? 5. Okay, it's not quite as powerful as I expected. So we will go ahead and throw some more on there. This is the big one, right? Yeah, quite large, in fact. We're going to throw that on there so we have lots and lots of reaction wheel. There is no need for this vessel to have like a reaction control system, because things are going to dock to it while it stands still. So that's sort of the core basis. We're going to need lots of room for supplies. I am going to say this is not going to be set up to like grow crops or anything by itself. At least not as a first go. So we're going to get a generic supplies canister and the 2.5 meter one. If we have that, and if we have, say, a couple of scientists in there, Bill and Bob, for example, if we have you two in there, and we check the life support stats over here. Wow. Okay. 2 and change years worth of raw supplies in here. That, I think, is a good idea, especially since it might have to support more people in the long run as we attach more things. So we're going to have that. We're going to have to ship supplies up here from time to time to restock them. But at least we know that we're going to be good for a good long time. We're going to want a massive series of batteries here. The 1Ks are... Okay, we do have a bit of a size mismatch here, unfortunately. I mean, I could stick a ton of batteries on the outside. Oh, there we go, the 4Ks. Perfect. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't just put them underneath here. I'm going to want 2 of these banks. Now, ultimately, for our Space Casino, we need 100,000 charge. This is only going to be 8K plus whatever's in the rest of it, which isn't that much, but should be more than enough for this particular vessel as is. We don't have the giant solar panels, which is a little bit unfortunate. But it's not too bad. We're going to get a ring of, I guess, 4... You know what? I think I'm going to go 6 solar panels here and here. I think that's going to be fine. And of course, we've got to figure out our sort of docking solution at some point too, where we want things. I mean, we might want to plan for like a 4-way connector. I think we're just going to have a single dock on the bottom of this thing for now. And then at some point, we'll probably attach a 4-way connector and build this up bigger and bigger. Now, if we look at coupling, we only have the Clampotron Junior unlocked. So that's not going to do. So we're going to call this Sci Station Mark 1. Save you. Hopefully I get enough science to unlock the bigger decouplers. Otherwise, yeah, we have tons of science. Good. I think that's under... Clampotron. There we go. Specialized construction. Pop that open. Anything else you might want down here? There's the multi-point connector. That is going to be quite handy for things later on. I think for now we're okay. Giant canisters, composites. Again, at some point we need to pick up the long-term habitation stuff. Well, the short-term habitation is not too bad either. We can start to unlock some amount of recyclers and things like that. And we might want to move in that direction. I don't think we need heat management. Air filters, water purifiers. It takes... Oh, all right. It takes electric charge and converts wastewater into regular water. And the air filters convert... intake air filters oxygen out of the air, requires intake air, will not function if the atmosphere... Oh, okay. So this requires an atmosphere containing oxygen. Okay, so it doesn't clean air that's like from CO2. Waste tank, gray water tank, wastewater. Carbon dioxide storage, so we have no conversion there, which is fine. More different ways of storing some stuff, but I don't think we need any of this. We could get to hydroponics. Water splitter splits water into oxygen and waste. I don't think we really need that either. This does break water down into hydrogen and oxygen, but again, I don't think that's something we're looking for right now. So we got the proper docking module. So that's good. Now, I could just stick it on the bottom of this thing as is. There's nothing sort of stopping me from doing that. Although, apparently... Oh, there we go. The other way around. It does look a little bit silly. I'm trying to decide, like, would it make sense... First of all, do we have a flared fuel tank? I mean, I could... Maybe. How come it's changing? There it is. I could do that, but is there any reason that we would want a fuel tank on here? I mean, in long term, we want refueling possibilities and all kinds of things. What does this contain? Liquid fuel. Yeah, it can inflate and then be a big fuel tank, which is quite cool. But I don't think there's any reason to do that now. I think that'll be a future component. So as such, I think we do that. Now, I could grab one of the structural adapters, not that one. This one here. But again, what do we gain from doing something like that? It looks a little cooler, but it's really... And I mean, don't get me wrong, that's often a reason in and of itself. But yeah, I don't think so. So I think we're going to do this. We're going to throw on some lights. Because that always... A, it looks cool. And B, it actually does serve a purpose. Because you can see the lights a little further. And use that to guide you in for your landing. Alright, so if we've got something like that, we can see this illuminated end. Oh, it didn't snap to the middle. There we go. I don't think it had, but now it's definitely centered up. All right, so we don't have the mega... Oh, you know what? That's the other thing I could take a look at. Can I unlock the giant solar panels? Because, I mean, obviously they get a lot more charge, but they also look a lot cooler. They're also a lot less likely to get shaded, which is, well, it's not going to be an miniaturization. Advanced electronics? More relay antennas, which is nice. These are flat panels. I'm confused. Have I not already unlocked these collapsible ones? Did I load some weird save somewhere along the way? Wait. 1x6. Oh, I think they're large. Alternate configuration, passive radiators. Oh, okay, okay. So they're not the large ones. High-powered, the Gigantors. So that's what I'm talking about. So if we went here and there, I mean, that's eating up a lot of our science. But I think it's probably a good investment. So we're going to pull off these little ones. And we're going to use the big ones over here. Now, I don't want to block these hatches. I could just go with a pair, but there's a possibility that we will be shaded in a way we don't like. So do I want to do something like that? Is that going to get in the way? Is it going to be annoying to deal with? I think it's fine. Any EVA operations will have to be a little bit careful because they could smack into solar panels. Although we could always go and collapse them while we're doing EVA operations, and that might not be too shabby of an idea. So we get a lot more power from that. So we have crazy reaction wheels. We've got this. I mean, we really don't need the extra reaction wheel. Almost certainly. And I'm wondering if we should just eliminate it. What do we need the reaction wheel for? Well, it would certainly help to steer. You know what? Hold on. I'm actually going to include it. Because it will... This is going to be a fairly heavy rocket to go up. And it's going to be nice to have the reaction wheel up here to steer while we still have, you know, the giant engine attached to all this. But in addition to that, when we do have the space station, more bits attached, we'll need a fair amount of reaction wheel to get things to turn. Not that we're going to want to do that very much. Okay, so this is going to be our space station here. In terms of electricity, it's actually got 4 days worth of electricity, even if the solar panels were to fail for some reason. So that's going to be wonderful. So we need the stage that's actually going to finish our ascent into orbit. And for that, I'm thinking something like this. Actually, I don't even know if we need that much. This Rockomax plus a Poodle. Oh, we have not actually unlocked the bigger engines. That is kind of poopy. Doesn't mean we can't make it work. But sure as hell gets a lot more annoying. Like, that's actually a surprising amount of thrust here. More than we need for the final stage. Even like that, that's a surprising amount of thrust. We, I guess, get a little bit more LTV because we don't have as much dead weight here. Can I make this work? We'll need some struts over here, but that's something we can deal with in a second. We've got the Rockomax decouplers. I'm wondering. What do we want? Oh, it's payload. That's not payload. This is payload. Let me get back to you. I'm wondering if we might not want to go with the big one. How's that for surface level thrust? Really not enough. Do we have a multi-adapter of any kind? Yes, we do. So we could quad stack manually, because I don't think we've got, like, we have no engine options for that. But if we quad stack this with a bunch of swivels, even that's not a ton of surface level thrust. But our delta V is getting up there. And this is going to be fine for part of the ascent phase. So if we go and combine this with, well, actually, that's enough delta V for us to reach orbit. Quite a bit. If we just paired this with solid rocket boosters, would we be pleased with that? Oops, that's weird. A little bit of lag after I let go. Right? If we did something like this, 4,400 delta V is good. This is 42 seconds of burn. Oh, the surface level thrust is not enough. So we'd need, like, maybe a hex config. There we go, now it goes. So the question is, with this surface level thrust and this amount of delta V, when would these burn out? Because we're not going to want to turn until, like, our actual swivel engines are on. I guess we can do a little test run here. Because we don't want this going up. Well, going up a little over 100 meters per second is going to be fine. Because actually, this is such a wonky shape that a steeper ascent, which is slightly less fuel efficient, but a heck of a lot safer, might indeed be the way to go. So we might want to go with like a quad on this one. There you go. When we decouple this, it will release those struts. And that's going to be fine. That's a fair amount of delta V. We're going to want clearly some sort of, sure, ridiculous amount of braces on there. That's fine. That light at the same time as that. We don't even need fins, but I think that's okay. We're going to build the fairing. We're going to have to flare out enough to encompass the... It's not... there's going to be a fair amount of aerodynamic drag on that. It's also a fairly heavy fairing. I wonder if I can make it a little thinner here. Delete. Build. That's green. Very good, actually. We'll do that, followed by that. Okay. A little bit lighter, a little bit more aerodynamic. Gotta be flared around there. I think this could technically work. And I guess we will preload it with the couple of scientists. It'd be nice if they had more levels of experience points, of course. We actually might want to do an XP run. It might be well valuable. We don't have a mission for it, but it might be well worth getting our scientists up to level 2. KSP Science. Or, sorry, Experience. That's what I want to look up. KXP Experience. So, to reach level 2, we need a total of 8 experience. Which, so Kerbal Orbit is 2. Kerbal Orbit is 6. So, if all we need to do is escape the sphere of influence of Kerbal, and that's all we need. Because at some point we'll hit Kerbal orbit, that's worth 2. 6 more for being in orbit around the sun, which we do as soon as we leave the sphere of influence of Kerbal. That gives us 8, which is level 2. Normally you'd have to land them to have it take effect, but with the science bay, you can have the science take effect instantly. The problem is we don't have enough delta V to leave the sphere of influence of Kerbal. Well, we might! But more importantly, we wouldn't have enough to re-enter orbit afterwards. So if we want to do an experience trip, we can't really do it with this. I do love the idea that we're making this work without the 2.5 meter engines. We might just eat the fact that they're level 1, and then do an experience trip later, and then swap some people in and out or something like that. We'll figure that out. Level 1, it's going to tech slowly. But, I mean, we've got no real time limits. We can just let time go by. So I think we're going to try this. It's kind of a low-tech way to make it happen, but I think it works. And here we are on the launch pad with our ship that, of course, has 2 scientist Kerbals on it. Anyone who says that I launched this with a scientist and an engineer is just spreading some sort of, like, crazy fake news. Non-Kerbal friendly propaganda. I have no idea what you're talking about. There was no revert whatsoever. This is our first launch, and we have 2 actual scientists on board here. Shut up. And they are level 0, but that's going to be okay, because when they do hit space, being in orbit around Kerbal does give you an FXP to get to level 1. Normally you'd have to wait until you land again to have that trigger, but we can level them up in the science bay over here. So we'll have 2 level 1 scientists. Not level 2, which would be much, much, much faster, but that's all right. So, one of the things I noticed is, despite the fact that I put that MechJeb module on there, I actually don't technically have SAS eligible, which is a little odd to me. I guess it doesn't count as a full probe core. But because I put that on there, I'm still going to let myself use the Smart ASS, which is actually, I mean, often more convenient, but I actually would normally want the SAS, but I'm not going to throw a probe core on here. It's going to be fine. So I think we're about ready to go. So full throttle, we are going to go into surface mode, going straight up. We are going to launch. Ooh, there was a second of hesitation there. Maybe I should have lit the engines for a half second before decoupling. That's possible. We're going to go straight up here. And right now, because we're only burning our SRBs, we have no real control authority here. And most likely we're going to end up going quite fast, going straight up at first. And that's really kind of unavoidable here. It means we're going to be ascending quite a bit more steeply than I might normally want. But I think that's going to have to be something we just deal with. Pre-programmed in a very cautious rollover here. I think it's going to be okay. And the engines are about to burn out. And go. We blew some stuff up. That's all right. A little bit of drift there, but I think we're going to be okay. So we don't have any fins, but we do have a lot of reaction wheels, and all four of these engines do gimbal, so I think we're actually going to be okay. I'm going to be very cautious about over-exceeding like the prograde marker over here, at least until the atmosphere thins out. So we are ascending quite steeply. You can expect our apoapsis to climb pretty quick, and our time to apoapsis to climb pretty quickly as well. At around maybe 30k, I'll go and ditch this, and then go more than 5 degrees at a time with the steering. Of course, I could be doing this manually, and might actually have a better time doing it manually, but that's going to be okay. So again, I'd normally like to be at 45 degrees pitch by 15k, and we're well past that. But that's okay. Letting that drift over. Excellent. Let's go to 65. Air is thinning out, so there's a lot less risk of us flipping over uncontrollably at this point, which is nice. Let's send you over to 60. That was a little aggressive, but I think we're okay. I'm going to suggest we're thin enough here. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. We're closing in at 30, and we're going to flip over to 50 here. There we go. I think that's going to be A-okay. Lots of reaction wheels, lots of steering. I think we're in good shape. Lovely. I'd actually just switch to orbit mode. I'm going to keep pushing us downwards here. I'm going to be looking to go quite horizontal soon. Apoapsis is climbing quite quickly. So I was thinking about our target. Again, a lot of times I end up going to 100k because it gives you a little bit of room to plan your maneuver and extra time that way. But as a result, since I am not, don't really have the means, I think we could actually go quite completely flat here at this point. Since I don't actually have the means to plan a perfect rendezvous from launch, which would be the ideal, right? We stick the station at 100k, we launch to 100k orbit at exactly the right time to rendezvous in the first, the instant pass. Since I don't have that, I'm going to park the station at 150k, and then my launches will still aim for about 100k, and then we'll do the transfer and rendezvous at that point. So I'm going to go completely horizontal here. We just entered space. We're deploying our solar panels completely horizontal. I'm going to push the apoapsis to 150k here, and then we will circularize afterwards. I think this looks like a giant bug. Very awkward, but that's okay. And 26, closing in there very well. Now, I could raise the apoapsis more efficiently if I just burned prograde, but I'm still looking to try to circularize as much as possible, hence the horizontal thing, which is going to be quite nice. We're going to have a very flat path. Our final circularization burn is going to be pretty microscopic, and that's great. And I mean, we don't have to be exact, but wouldn't it feel good if we were like really close to 150? Really close. Really close. We can do it. We can do it. Oh my god. Oh, the number changed. Weirdly. Okay. Close enough. Good. Since we did unlock some new MechJeb tech, we can use the maneuver planner over here to circularize for us, because it's something that we've done about 30,000 times in this Let's Play, let alone all of them. So let's go ahead and save ourselves a little bit of trouble and get it to automatically calculate the maneuver, automatically time warp to the right time, and then go ahead and perform the burn with a little bit more accuracy than I can just do by hand. We get ourselves nicely circularized. And then as soon as we are entered orbit proper, we should be able to level up both these scientists. They'll be level 1 scientists and ready to take in some technology later on. I did realize I should have done is put a probe core on there. This way, after I split these off, I'd be able to steer this and maybe move it away. from the station. It should. There's a little bit of a boost when you release over here, so they should split up. Our apoapsis will climb slightly during this maneuver, so we're not going to be at exactly 150k, but we're going to be awfully close. It's weird that it's actually going down. I guess, I don't know. It's going to be awfully close. Nope, now it's going back up. All right, maneuver complete. So, oh yeah, we still have some fuel in here, not a ton. But we might have been able to do something with it, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and decouple this node. And so, yeah, that's loose. They should split up a bit. I can bump them a little bit, but they should drift apart given a little bit of time, so it should be fine. Let's go to Killrot over here. We are going to go and level up the crew, so they'll register their experience. Now they're both level 1, so they can do a little bit of teching. There's nothing for them to do right now, although... Can they crew report? Crew report. Yeah, there we go. Process in lab. So they have no other science experiments, but that's okay. I could have put on a telescope on here, actually, which kind of would make thematic sense. Let's transfer crew back into there. And then they could, because I think you can telescope different biomes, but that's okay. So you can start your research over here. Power should be more than stable. Yeah, just pinned at 100% power, despite the fact that we're running this. So this is drifting a bit. We're, contributing to that, what's that mess called? I don't remember. But, that space debris kind of mess. Luckily, we can blow this up from the space center. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to blow up that little bit of debris. Did that complete our mission, actually? I don't remember. But first of all, go over here. Oh, it's not flagged as the correct thing. We need to rename you. Click, 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 click. There it is. You are, in fact, a station. And this debris, we're going to blow up. And this is debris. Blow you up. Clean up our mess. Excellent. Okay, I mean, we could filter it out as well, but... right, so, contract-wise. Hey, there we go. We built the space station. Lovely. Did we get any more contracts associated with that? Prolonged space flight. 60 days, 2 Kerbals, station, docking module, Kerbal orbit. So if we accept that, I think we'll start accruing some progress for it. If we could somehow get some upper atmosphere science in there, we would have been able to complete that. If I had just not shipped it or something. Okay, that's fine. Tourism Plus, while we're working on some stuff, that's going to be okay too. What are these Sentinel contracts? Oh, keeping an eye on some asteroids. Oh, very interesting. We can adjust some orbits of some satellites. Flag planting. Oh, plant flag on the moon. Repeat of that. All right, we'll say yes. Keep it around. That's going to be okay. Perform material study on Minmus in different areas. Yeah, these are tricksy. Very tricksy. Ah, there we go. More base and station missions. Upgrade our thing so that we can have at least 4 Kerbals on it. Perform temperature scan while docked with Sci Station Mark 1. That's something we're going to be able to do after a new mission. Scan for a suitable location for a new base. Perform an orbital resource survey of the moon. Oh, I can't accept that. Although I do have a lot of money. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and upgrade this. And we're going to accept that because it sounds like the sort of thing we want to keep around. So this is going to be a precursor to a moon base mission, which sounds wonderful. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plan a manned landing of Minmus, and we're going to design it in such a way that we can leave Minmus and, in fact, dock with the Sci Station Mark 1 and dump all our science into there for more advanced study. Hopefully it'll all work out. What we might do is we could consider, if I look at the experience charts, landing on Minmus gives you 5.75 XP Planting a flag gives you 6.25 XP. So that combined with orbiting of Kerbin, which counts for 2, means you can get to level 2 with a simple Minmus landing. So if we in fact had scientists land on Minmus, we could get them to level 2, bring them to the science station, swap some people around, land with our craft. So we might look at a 2-man lander. Or in fact, can't remember. Do we have a command module that fits 3 or 2? This thing here is what? It is 3. So we could have the pilot and 2 scientists land on there. It's Minmus, so the gravity is lower, which is good. We already have a lifter. This design here is a lifter that can work with 2.5 meter components. So we might be able to get that to be a 3-person lander with the Mark 1-2 command pod. Fit 2 scientists in there to give them lots and lots and lots of XP. That might be kind of a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you next time.